For those of you who don't know, I am actually a famous Twitch streamer. No, I'm not. I streamed on Twitch for about a year in 2020, and honestly, I actually had a very decent viewership. Yeah, I talked to the camera for hours at a time to a virtual audience of people who I don't know and will probably never know. But I'm not here to talk about how I became a streamer or what type of content I stream. Today, I want to talk about parasocial relationships. Specifically, how parasocial relationships manifest in an environment like Twitch, and what my personal experience was being in that environment.
None of your content creators, your favorite ones, including me, are your friends.
Some of these guys that gift me thousands and thousands of dollars want either a lot of attention, which is why they do it, or they typically want to be my friend.
For anyone watching who is a streamer or a viewer, I'd be very curious to hear your personal experience with this. I know a lot of content creators who've received the negative outcome of parasocial relationships, but I really want to know what it's like from a viewer's perspective. Everyone has a different streaming experience and viewing experience. Today, I am simply sharing mine and those of people that I know.
I want to be someone that gets their feeling of being connected and whole through a parasocial relationship or through a real life relationship. Who do I want to be?
First thing, what is a parasocial relationship? Parasocial relationship is generally defined as a one-sided relationship that a person forms with a public figure or a media persona whom they don't know personally. So in the context of Twitch, a viewer can form a parasocial relationship with a streamer. They can spend months chatting with and sharing all of their intimate life details with the person and investing all their emotional energy and time into chatting with this person. Yet the streamer only knows the viewer by a string of letters associated with their username. Of course, given that the streamer even knows the viewer at all, in big communities, it's very unlikely that the streamer would recognize one username out of the thousands and thousands of other people that are also in their chat.
There was like 4,000 messages, like, holy.
To help me better explain this concept and my personal experience, let's run through a couple of scenarios. Scenario A, lost in stardust. In this scenario, you as a viewer are mere dust surrounding this one star. You follow a creator that we see as extremely successful. They have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers, and lots of money pouring in to support their content creation career. And you are but one of the millions of dust particles that surround them and gravitate toward them, poetically orbiting them, poetically contributing to their life, and poetically insignificant. Unless, of course, you consistently send the star lots of money that you upkeep their survival so much that they are forced to recognize who you are. But it is unlikely that the star will ever recognize your existence. So how can a parasocial relationship form in scenario A? While most viewers recognize that when they're watching that big of a creator, they are mere stardust, and most viewers happily accept their role as dust. Most viewers see watching a big content creator like watching a television show, only that now you are live reacting to some of the things that they're doing. And this is really evident when you just go to a big streamer's channel. 90% of the messages sent in their chat are just emotes. The chat goes so fast that the streamer can't even read your message.
Holy.
So you're probably wondering, if I recognize that this big creator doesn't even know who I am, they're so far out of reach, then how can I have a parasocial relationship with this person when I already know that they're so far out of reach? Because Twitch creates an illusion that every single time my favorite streamer goes live, they're hanging out with me, they're talking directly to me, and they're sharing their life details with me, as if I was a friend. And when I donate, they say, "Thank you, that's very kind." And when I buy their merch, they say, "I really appreciate you." And the more I donate, the more attention I'm likely to get, and the more I feel like I am a special and needed person in their life. The most common way to form parasocial relationships in scenario A is through monetary exchanges, because money at this point is most likely the only thing that will get a big streamer to notice you. The more the parasocial viewer donates, the more attention they get, and the more they feel like they're directly contributing to the streamer's life. This can give the viewer a false sense of entitlement to the streamer's time and energy. When they don't get the streamer's attention or energy, they feel upset. And they're like, how can this person I spent so much time with not care about me at all? Maybe if I just find this person in real life and talk to them, they'll realize how great of a friend I can be, and they'll realize how amazing of a person I am. Yeah, maybe I just need to find them in person. You see how this can go down a very bad, slippery path. A lot of content creators have gotten stalkers through this line of thinking. Now, of course, this is the more extreme version of parasocial relationships. What I'm curious to share is the not so extreme, really nuanced version of parasocial relationships. Ones that I have and the streamers that I know have also experienced. Scenario B, floating rocks. You are no longer just dust, but you are actually a rock that greatly contribute to the star's formation. Maybe you're even a planet, actively growing in the star's community, actively contributing and being recognized. Wow, I'm so poetic. I swear I'm not into astronomy or astrology. This was just a really cool analogy. In this scenario, you as a viewer are actively acknowledged as an important member of the community that the streamer has formed. The streamer perhaps only has 3 viewers, which makes you 1/3 of their entire audience. You have active, engaging conversations with the streamer for days, weeks, and maybe months. And they might know you as much as you know about them. You talk about your favorite shows, what you ate yesterday, what your plans are tomorrow. Now, the question is, are you friends? I actually know quite a few people that have actually befriended their early viewers, because at the time it really seemed like you were making a new friend online. And I feel the same way. I actually met some of my early viewers, and yeah, they're great people. I could definitely see being friends with them. But then the question that arises is, as your viewership increases, at what point do you draw the line? Do you just say, no, I am not befriending any of you because there are just too many of you? Because instead of talking to 3 people now, you're talking to 50 people, and you just can't have a friendship with 50 people. Then what happens to the first 3 people that you were talking to who you really got to know? Are they more entitled to get to know you and be your friends just because they were an early viewer? This to me is a more interesting side of parasocial relationships because the boundaries are so unclear. It's no longer something that's just black or white. I've personally received a lot of private messages from my viewers talking about their life struggles, their life stories, and ask for advice. They want to have a conversation with me. And I honestly really appreciate that because it means that you value my input and you care about what I think. But at the same time, it's a mental burden, because I have to invest my emotional energy and time in replying to you. And a lot of the times, the messages that I get are actually really heavy. I've had people message me about depression and suicide, and I was like, you should not be talking to me right now because I am not a trained therapist. And I know sometimes people say more extreme things to get empathy and attention out of me. And you know what? It works. Because I care, but I can't care about 50 people who are going through mental health issues. Like, that's gonna give me mental health issues because I am not a psychiatrist. I have a community of about a couple hundred people on Discord, and honestly, running that was personally very exhausting for someone who has so many other things going on. Plus, it doesn't help that I'm an introvert and I love my alone time. Like, it got to a point where I had to say, I'm sorry, but I cannot reply to any private messages. All streamers on Twitch will fall somewhere between scenario B and scenario A. Most streamers probably relate more to scenario B, where the line between just a viewer and potentially a friend is just so blurry that it's easy to get taken advantage of. I know people who actively go on the Twitch Explore page and sort the streams by lowest viewership first, just so they can get exclusive attention from a small streamer who has no audience yet. Oftentimes, these are people who are really looking to fulfill an innate human need for social connection. And a small streamer with no audience is the perfect place to get that social connection, especially if they're really desperate to have an audience.
They've seen a vulnerable part of you. There's an authenticity, there's an intimacy to it. It comes at a certain tier of relationship. Because at this point, they feel like they know you. And then that triggers like certain neurological or like sociological like programming. And some people get a little bit confused. And I think that's why parasocial relationships happen.
So what am I trying to say at the end of the day? If you ask me, I honestly think the live stream environment is just inherently very unhealthy. As humans, we're just not built to form relationships with more than like 10 people. Yet Twitch sells on the notion that these streamers are just everyday people. These are people that you can just go out on the street and actively befriend and have a conversation with. This environment is built to mimic day-to-day social interactions because that's how the platform gets you to feel special, to feel connected to the community on the platform, to stay longer there, and to give money to the corporation. So this is my plea to the viewers out there. As much as you love the content creator that you've been interacting with, they are not your friends. They're simply a persona there on your screen to provide you with entertainment. By understanding these boundaries, you actually help your favorite content creator maintain a healthy relationship with their community. It will reduce their mental burden and ultimately help them make more content for you. I want to be clear, I did not make this video to defame or blame Twitch. In fact, it's the opposite. I love Twitch. It brings people from around the world together. There's some amazing things that happen because Twitch existed. And as much as I talked about parasocial relationships in this video, I actually met some incredible people through this platform, and I'm still in touch with many of them. I wanted to make this video because I want to shed light on what it's really like being a streamer or a viewer in this new digital age of live streaming, and how regardless of who you are, Twitch and other content creation platforms can be a very toxic environment. And it's up to all of us to be aware of the actions that make these environments more toxic or make them better. Let me know in the comments if you found anything that I said relatable or interesting, or if you have your own personal experience you would like to share, please let me know. I'll see you next time.